Chapter 8.3 notes. Okay, so again, we're continuing going down the solving. The biggest thing in this section that I want you to make sure that you ask me questions on today is when we do the cross multiplication. Okay, I've done the cross multiplication step with you guys 2 or 3 times, and a lot of you are just kind of mind tripped by it. Okay, so what we got to do is we got to make sure that we understand why it works, number 1, and then what's bothering you, number 2. Okay, like I said, I've been giving you guys a lot of praise lately. We've been doing very well as a class on our averages on a test. Very good job turning our homework in. We've been just killing it lately. Let's make sure we asking questions of things you don't understand. Okay? Because if you just assume it, you're going to just assume it's okay. When you get a test, you're going to freeze because you're like, oh, I don't want to cross multiply. Okay? That's what happens. Okay? Don't do that. This one, everybody's okay with usually. Okay? This is just you distribute and solve. So the first step here is that you're going to hit both with 3, both, yeah. 3 times d, 3 times 0.4, and then you're going to solve. Yep, so 3d plus 1.2 equals negative 3.9 is where you're at. Okay, now we're just to our normal 2-step equation. We're going to go minus 1.2. Remember, negative subtracts more. That means I owe 390. I'm borrowing another 120. I owe 410. And I'm going to divide by 3. Or 510. 510. Yep. It's 5.1. Yep. You can put 5.1. It's fine. Okay. So if you divide that by 3, you should get 1.7, I think. They're not in here. Other end of the hall, Miss Haggert's room. Okay. So that's going to be negative 1.7. Any questions there? Okay. Keep going. So now this is the one we got to talk about. Okay. So once you get the first step done here, you're going to be exactly to what we just did. Okay? This is what you need to understand. Cross multiplying is a way to get rid of things off the bottom. So this is what cross multiplying actually means. Okay? I put the 2 right here. The reason I do that is because I'm going to multiply 2 to both sides. Oops, not top and bottom. See how I multiplied 2 to both sides? Well, when I do it with the right side, I do that to get the 2 to cancel. It goes away. Okay, so that's why we write it there. So 2 there. Those cancel. I take the 5. I write a 5 here and a 5 there. Those ones cancel. So you can see what happens is that the fractions go away. So what I have left, okay, and I'll write it a little cleaner in a second, I have this and the 3 and the 5. Okay? I have those things left. So it's 2 times t minus 1 equals 3 times 5. Any questions there? So see, look, the 5 went to the top right. The 2 went to the top left. So we're essentially kind of throwing in with the opposite numerator. Okay? So let me erase it. Let me show you one more time. I see some confused faces.
And then for the hit both.
Yeah, so then we're doing what we just did the previous. Okay, so one more time. The 2 is going to go up here. The 5 is going to go up here for cross multiplication. Okay, if you want to see the cross picture, okay, 2 to there, 5 to there. That's the cross. Okay, so let me finish this one out, and then let's take some questions, okay? 2t, 2 times negative 1. 3 times 5 is 15. I minus 2, or no, I add 2. Divide by 2. So your answer is 17 over 2.
Wait.
Yeah.
So you could just do 3 over 2 times 5 plus 1.
Yes, you can do that as well. So what he's saying is, could you just times the 5 over? That works as well. And that's totally fine. Like I have no problem with you doing that. I guess just I like getting in the habit of cross multiplying because typically you have to do that eventually. But what Connor's saying is yes, you can just multiply by 5 to both sides, and then your t minus 1's by itself, and you have 15 over 2. Because that's 5 over 1. Add 1, you get t. That's 2 over 2. So you can see you get the same answer either way. Yeah, Aiden?
My test, do you want us to kind of solve 17 over 2 or like?
I'm fine with you leaving it as a fraction. Okay, 17 over 2, I don't care about it as decimal. Again, I don't want you to get in the habit of always writing decimals, because remember we talked about how that can be an issue when you round. Okay. Any other questions on the cross multiplication there? That is essentially the main issue for 8-3. Okay. So if you have questions with that, make sure you ask. Okay. All right. If you don't, let's go ahead and see if you can try one here. Okay. So I want you to try these two. Okay. Let's see what you get, and we'll see how our accuracy is. Okay, I'll pause the video. All right, so we'll do the first one up here. I know we don't like using their boxes and whatnot. You don't have to use these regularly, but just, for right now, just do it. So we have distribute the 2 first. We get 2e times a negative, or it says minus there. So this is what Aiden was asking. How do you know if it's positive or negative? Well, this sign just stays. So that's going to make it negative automatically. Okay, e is positive. There's no negative on that e, so they stay positive. Okay, that's kind of how we sort through what's positive, negative, just what sign is on it. Okay, so this 2 times e is 2e, no problem. 2 times 0.6 is 1.2, so that's a negative 1.2. Now they're doing the solving steps. So they're doing 2e minus 1.2 plus 1.2 to cancel those. Then you have 2e equals 5.4. 2e equals 5.4. The last step to get rid of the 2 is to divide by 2, and you get 2.7. We all right? Okay, I'll do the quick check here for you. So we got 2.7. 2.7 times, or 2.7 minus 0.6 is 2.1. 2 times 2.1 is 4.2. We have 4.2. So we feel really good about our answer. We just checked it. Okay. All right. Solve and check. Okay, so this one here, again, ignore the 6. That's just them. It's another strategy to get rid of fractions. Ah, come on. There we go. So just ignore the 6. Okay. And so what we're going to do now is we're just going to do what we did last time. We're going to multiply the 3. Cancel. Multiply the 3. I'll just go ahead and stay with how they're set up here. So this is all they did here. Is that c plus 2 equals negative 15 over 2. If you cross multiply, you're fine. You can do that as well. I'm just doing it like the second kind of way that Connor did. Minus 2, minus 2.
You don't cross multiply the 2 to the other side.
You can. Yeah, you'll still get it right. So let's just see if you get it right, Luke, and I'll do it your way too, okay? There's 2 ways. Okay, so that's gone. C equals, negative 2 is a common denominator, be negative 4 over 2. Negative 15 minus 4 is negative 19 over 2. Okay, so I'll do it the other way I showed you that Luke's talking about for cross multiplying. So if we cross multiply, what you'll have is you'll have a 2 here and a 3 here. So I'll have 2 times c plus 2 equals negative 15. Then we distribute 2c plus 4 equals negative 15 minus 4. 2c equals negative 19. Divide 2, divide 2. You can see we get the same answer. So both ways are good. Okay, to check our work, is there questions first here? Let me wait, sorry.
Just a negative fraction, then when you bring over it to its positive.
With a negative fraction,
Okay, there's negative 5 over 2. And then
15 over 2, you mean?
No.
Oh, this one?
And then you bring over the 2 and it's positive.
Bring over the 2.
At the start.
Yeah, at the start. I'm looking at just in here. So at the start of this one?
No,
Like
like
the cross multiplications?
multiplication.
Right, that's right here.
But why isn't the 2 there, negative 2?
Okay, because only one of them stays negative, not both of them. Because if it's negative or negative, that'd be a positive. Okay, good question. Did you guys hear that? So he asked like, why isn't this 2 negative? Okay, it's a really good point. But negative 15 over 2, you can have one negative, the 15 over the 2, but not both of them. Because if you put a negative on both, then a negative over negative is a what? Positive. So it just kind of makes things a little bit, makes more sense. And generally, I always have the top number negative. Okay, the top number negative just makes more sense to me. It just kind of keeps things consistent. Okay, so then when he multiply the 2 over here, keep that as a positive 2, and then leave your negative 15 here. Okay, all right, so let's check. Negative 19 over 2 plus 2 divided by 3. Okay, so I know oral operations. Remember, this is bracketed, so we do this first, and then we divide by 3. I don't like they didn't have that there for you. So negative 19 plus 2. So that'd be negative 19 over 2 plus 4 over 2. That's negative 15 over 2. Divide that by 3. Okay, that would be flip and multiply. Negative 15 over 6, which reduces to negative 5 over 2. Yep. And that's right, because that's what that is. Again, a lot of fraction work here. I think a lot of you are getting overwhelmed with the fractions. Okay, just trust yourself that you can do those, because you guys can. We've already gone over those, and you've learned those in previous classes. All right, last page here. All right, on a February day in Whitehorse, Yukon Territory, the daily average temperature is negative 13.2 degrees Celsius. The low temperature is negative 18.1. What is the high temperature? So they give you the equation there. Average is equal to the sum of values divided by number of values. Right, so we have 2 values. So they have negative 13.2 and the low temperature is negative 18.1. So what's the high temperature? So we're going to go low plus high divided by 2 to average it should equal the average. Low plus high divided by 2 should equal the average. Okay, the information that we know what the average and the low is. The low is negative 18.1. We don't know the high, and we know the average is negative 13.2. So how would you solve that one? This one we don't really need to cross multiply, right? So what we got to understand is this. And stay with me. You guys are doing good. Come on. There we go. We want this by itself. So these are the problems. I have to get rid of those 2 things. What do I get rid of first? Division or subtraction? We get trick question, really? Yeah, the division, because the division bar is blocking the subtraction, which is kind of weird. You go do it. If I went and try to go plus, I'm being blocked by that. I need to get rid of that first. So I want to times 2 to both sides to get rid of the 2. Negative 26.4. And then we add 18.1. So the high temperature, still in the negatives, so negative 8.3. So it's still negative 8.3 for the high. Yep.
How come when you multiply by 2 kind of on the second step there,
Mm-hmm.
so you just, it doesn't actually multiply anything above the division bar, it's kind of there, canceled out.
Right. Because you would normally, because first of all, it's 2 over 1, right? So some people think the 2 should hit everything, but it doesn't. It only hits the top. But here's the thing. If I multiply it to the top, you're right, there'll be 2's on the top, but that's not why we're doing it. We're doing it to get rid of this. So think about this. If I had 6 plus 4 over 10, right? Or no, let's go over 2. Okay? And what is 6 divided by 2? 3. And then what's 4 divided by 2? So what that does is it just divides off. So if I do that here, I can do the same thing. They would divide off. So we're just skipping that point because we're going to cancel them now rather than do 2 steps of it.
Oh,
Okay? So that's the kind of the purpose. So we kind of put the brackets here, and we're just going to take care of it now because they are over each other. Another thing you guys might want to know, in math, if you have like a 4x over like a 2, these cancel, but the x just stays the same. So you kind of think about this as your x. It kind of stays the same, and we're canceling the number. Okay? Any other questions over there? We're good? Okay. So the high is negative 8.3. So if we want to check that real quick, we'd go negative 8.3 plus 18.1, or negative 8.1. Sorry. We're adding the negative. All over 2. So if you calculate that, you should get negative 26.4 divided by 2 equals negative 13.2, which is what they said the average was. So we're good. Okay, try to show here on your own. I'll give you a second. I'd say right now we're about 60% of you guys can get through this on your own and get the answer. Okay, that's a little bit low. So we need to make sure we keep asking questions, especially when we get to some practice time here. So on this one here, let's fill it out. It says, what's the daily average temperature? You just have to read for that. That's negative 1.5. Okay, so right there. The high temperature is 1.3. Let T be the low temperature. So we're doing T plus 1.3 over 2 equals a negative 1.5. So our first step that we did, we times by 2. Remember, we're not going to distribute. We're just going to cancel it. A couple of you guys, I saw 3 or 4 of you do this. You subtract here. It's not times 1.3. It's plus 1.3. So you minus 1.3. T equals negative 4.3. And you're done. It's only a 2-step equation. Okay? First step, multiply by 2. Second step, subtract 1.3. Okay, so what that means is the low temperature was negative 4.3 degrees Celsius. Okay? All right, so we still have about 15-20 minutes, so please use your time to ask questions and go right into the workbook, okay, or your packet.